Hello, my dear students. Let's start with the further concepts of the fourth module, that is classes and functions. So, if you remember what we have discussed in the earlier chapter, so we have discussed how to create a class, how to instantiate objects, and how to set the values for the attributes of the objects. So, if you remember, or else if you have gone through the videos that I have uploaded previously, you would rather know that we have discussed the examples related to the rectangle, we have discussed examples related to the circle, and how to create the objects for all these classes and how to set the attribute values. So coming to here in this chapter, we are going to deal with the new example as a time, and we also see that the how we can write the functions for all these classes where we can do some calculations on the objects and the values that we have created. So what is the syntax to be used for writing or creating a class is the keyword class followed by a time and colon, and with the quotations you need to just define some sentences in order to create this as a class. So we can create a new time object and assign the attributes for the hours, minutes, and the seconds. So as I told earlier, there is no such restriction that how many attributes that you want to create for the class. You can create as many attributes as you want, and you can set the values. For being a time class, you know that the time is defined with the three attributes, that is hours, minutes, and the seconds. So here how to create the object for the any class is you can take the any variable of your choice equal to, and just like as a calling a function, you can call the name of the class with the parenthesis to say that you have created this time, the lowercase time, as an object for the class time. So once the object has been created, next you can set the as many attributes as your choice, but for the time you have the attributes as hour, minute, and second, which is created along with the object that has been created for the class time here. So similarly the values can be set here. So basically this example, this tells that you have created the class time and you have created the object for the class time, and you have set the three attribute values, namely as hour, minute, and the second, the value being of your choice. So the next thing is, as an exercise, what you are supposed to do is you need to write a function. The function is nothing but a method that you need to define, which is called as a print time, that takes the time object and prints it in the form of hour colon minute colon second. The hint also has been given for this exercises. The format sequence percentage dot 2d prints an integer using at least two digits including a leading zero if necessary. So what you are supposed to do as a function for this exercise is you need to define a function with a name as a print underscore time, which accepts the time object as a parameter, and then as a result it has to display the time in the form of hour colon minutes colon second, which can be used or displayed by with the help of the percentage dot 2d. This is a format specifier where it tells that two digits can be taken after the decimal point in while displaying the hour, minute, and the second. So let's see how it is defined here. So I'm not going to execute this entire file here. Why? Because the all the worked examples and some of the exercise related programs I have written in the same file, where I'm going to show you result at the end of this chapter. So for the just the, as a solution to this exercise what we have just seen here, so this one, so we'll see how to write a function for printing the time here. So as usual you need to create a class, right? So if you ask me where I have created the time object and where I set the values, so here a main function has been defined where I have taken the t as a time object, and certainly three attributes has been taken with some random values here. So let's concentrate on how we can and this t itself is passed as an object to the print time function here. So we'll see how we can display or print the values associated with this t object here. So print followed by, as given in the hint, as what you need to define is you want to define the three attribute values, because this t time object has the three attribute values, namely hour, minute, and the second. The first percentage dot 2d represents the hour, the second represents the minute, and third represents the seconds. Right, so similarly, you can see a colon has been placed in between to distinguish between the hour, minute, and the second. So this is the format specifier that has been used. But you also have to tell what values has to be filled with the each of this position here. So that can be told here percentage in the form of a parenthesis. You can take here the object what has been defined here as a parameter which is being passed when this function has been called. So the same object t, the name of the attributes remains same what you have defined while setting the values here. So hour, minute, and second. As you can see, hour, minute, and second. So same has to be taken here. So t dot hour, t dot minute, and the t dot second. So this entire part is a solution to tell you how you can display the time in the format of hour, minute, and second by defining a function which can accept the time object as a parameter. So let's continue with the next concept here. So already I shown you how you can write a function for printing the time. So for the another for as an another exercise, here you need to write a boolean function called is underscore after that takes two time objects t1 and t2 and returns true if t1 follows t2 chronologically and false otherwise. So basically the simplest way of writing a solution to this exercise is using the if condition here. But the condition has been given or the restriction has been put to this exercise is do not use the an if statement. So without using a if statement, you need to write a boolean function that has to give the result as a true or the false. So true in case true when it has to give the true as a result is if the time t1 follows the t2 chronologically. If not, it has to give the result as a false. Then how to write it using the any if statement. So without the if statements, let's see what the solution needs to be taken here. So you can see here is after which accepts the two time objects which set some random values for all the three attributes for hour, minute, and the seconds. T1 being the one object for the time class and T2 being the second object for the class time here. So what condition has been given here is without using the if statement, you need to return the result as a true or false in case T1 follows T2 or not. Right. So if you remember the characteristic or the property of the tuples, so where you are going to take the values within the tuples and how does the comparison operator is going to work on the two tuples here. So if you see a return statement has been taken here, return followed by this is the first tuple. If you remember what is a tuple, so you'll get to know that this is the first tuple where in the first tuple you have the three elements here, three elements being the attributes of the t1 object, that is t1 dot hour comma t1 dot minute comma t1 dot second. So here a greater than comparison operator has been used followed by the second operand for this comparison operator is another tuple for which the elements are nothing but the attributes of the t2 object here. So t2 dot hour comma t2 dot minute comma t2 dot second. Then how does this greater than operator is going to behave on the tuples here? So already have discussed this while studying the tuples chapter. So if you remember the comparison operator, it's always going to compare the with the first elements of the two tuples. First it is going to do the comparison as whether t1 dot hour is greater than t2 dot hour. In case if it is true, then it will never proceed with the next elements from the tuple. So how does it is going to proceed for the next elements is if these two values are equal, then it will do the comparison between the second element of the first tuple with the second element of the second tuple, like t1 dot minute whether it is greater than t2 dot minute. So in this case, if it is true with all the three elements, or else if it is true with the any of the first cases, then it is going to give the result as a true. So this is how you are going to write a function without using the if statement to do the comparison between the two time objects. The logic behind this is using the tuples here. I hope you understood the solution here. I'll show you the executions once we completely discuss all the contents of this chapter here. So coming to the next concept is studying the two functions, that is the pure functions and the modifying functions here. So let's understand what are pure functions and what are which functions you can say the modifiable functions here. Okay, so if you go through the example that has been given in this slide, where we have defined a function named as add time, which accepts the two time objects here, right? So within this, what is our intention is we want to add the two time objects. So if you know that, or if you remember, the time object has the three attributes here which needs to be added separately, right? So for doing that, you can observe here we have taken the another variable known as a sum, which has been created at the third object of the class time apart from the t1 and the t2. So using this object of the class time, we are going to store the results of the addition of the two time objects here. So that is sum dot hour is equal to, by adding the hour part of the t1 and the t2, that is t1 dot hour plus t2 dot hour. So similarly for the minute, where we have stored it in the sum dot minute variable, and similarly for the second as well, and at last we can return the sum object itself. So what can be concluded with this definition here is, even though we have taken the t1 and t2 as a parameters here, which is being passed once it has been created, right? So but while adding the contents of the t1 and t2, while storing the results, we are using the new object for the class time here. That means we are not going to affect any values that has been already stored earlier in the t1 and t2. The original values of the t1 and t2 will be unaffected, that will be, it will be not changed. So why? Because we have taken the new variable and where we have stored all the results into the new variable. So such kind of the examples are said to be as the pure functions. So while I'm explaining this, is in your VTU examination also, they might ask you like, explain the pure functions with an example and how it is called as a pure function here. So it is the concept is very simple. You might have used it several times, but the name has been given here. The technical name has been given here as a pure functions here. So this is called as a pure function because it does not modify any of the objects passed to it as a arguments, and it has no effect like displaying a value or getting the user input other than returning a value. So no effect for the original values. Instead, the new variable is taken to store the modified values here. So such a functions are said to be as the pure functions here. So the same function can be used for one example, like when you want to watch a movie and when you want to decide when it will be ended. So that can be done with a simple addition over here. So you can see here start has been taken as a object for the time class, where the three values has been set here for the hour, minute and second. A new object has been created as a duration for the time class. Again the three values has been set here. If you want to know when, if the picture or the movie start from at the 9:45, and if this being a duration like 1 hour 35 minutes, and you want to calculate that at what time the movie is going to be winded up, so you can simply pass these two objects, the start and duration, as a parameters to the previous function what we have done here. So you can see the add time, which accepts the two time objects. So in this case, start and duration are the two time objects which can be passed as a parameters to the this addition add time function here. So similarly, if we do it, and if you want, you can try it and execute, and if we pass with the same values here, so probably we'll get the result as a 10 hours 10 sorry 10th hour 80 minutes and 0 seconds. So which is quite unusual here. You will never define any minutes as a 80, so you already know that the minutes are going to be not maximum with the value 60 here. Then what needs to be done? So that as a logic part, or as a part of a coding, you need to take care that the values of the minutes and second should not be more than 60, and even for the hours it should not be more than the 24 hours here. So we'll see in the next video what can be done if we want to consider this restriction for doing any calculations on the time object. So stay tuned.